Welcome to day 4 of our journey through the world of emotions. I'd like to start with a question that I imagine starts to be familiar for you. So, what is alive for you right now? Just notice any feelings, any bodily sensations, any tensions, any movements that you feel right now. And then again, take a breath to make more space for what you feel. And feel the earth underneath your feet. And notice if you can receive yourself as you are right now. Receive yourself with kindness. Welcome yourself. And how is it when you do so? So, in my recording yesterday, I told you how our feelings are pointing to our needs being met or unmet. So, the pleasant feelings are a sign of our needs being met, and unpleasant feelings are a sign of our needs being unmet. And the additional trick to it is that when we actually try to stifle or numb the unpleasant emotions, because of course we don't want to feel them, right? The price we pay is high because we cannot selectively numb our emotions. So when I try to get rid of this fear or anger or this helplessness, I stop feeling joy, happiness, excitement. It all becomes faded and dry. But then, this other side of the coin is scary too. How can I feel this anger that is in me, perhaps unfelt for years, or the fear that I know is just lurking somewhere there, or the dreaded helplessness, and not drown in it? How can I feel safe with it? This is a very important question and very important part of this exploration that we are doing within this journey. And one key to this exploration is understanding where our emotions are coming from. And this is what I would like to share with you in this recording as well. So, when I feel something, it is often because something happened, right? So, there is an event, an occurrence, a stimulus in the external world that is the reason for my emotions, right? Well, not exactly. There is actually something very important that happens between the event, the stimulus, and my emotional response. This thing that is happening is called meaning making. So it is not the event itself, but rather the meaning that we assign to it that is responsible for our emotional reaction. And the meaning making is often not a conscious process. So it's not like you see this man shouting at you and you think, oh, this man is dangerous, and then you feel afraid. It's the tone of voice, it's the body position that your body interprets as threatening. Or you may see someone making these really funny movements and weird faces, you know, and your bodily response to this may be that of excitement, because what your interpretation is that this person is dancing wildly, and you just want to join, right? So, how is this meaning being created, and can we influence this? First of all, the first step would be to understand how we get the meaning that we get. And part of the picture, an important part of the picture, is our culture that we grew up in. So the culture is the cultural context, like the country, even the language, in the way we name things, there is already hidden meaning. There is this story that when they were building the first skyscrapers in New York, they were hiring um, an Apache tribe because they didn't have fear of heights. And one of the reasons why they didn't have the fear of heights was that they didn't have this word, like this description in their language at all. So there was this thought wasn't in their head. So already by naming things a certain way, we assign meaning. And there are words that are charged in every language, and they differ. And then there are these customs. There are these things that are okay, proper, and things that are not okay, improper. Also emotions, and these are assigned to genders. These are assigned to groups of people. And then there are also these bodily language expressions. And we often are absolutely not aware of it unless we go and travel somewhere else and we notice, oh, this is different. So, one funny example that I can give you is connected with this sign. So, when you say something and you notice the person is doing this, what's your interpretation? What's the meaning making that you make? Mine would be that they don't agree, except when you go to Bulgaria. Because in Bulgaria, they have it the other way around from my perspective. Yeah, so nodding means no, and this means yes. Unless you know it, it's really confusing, right? So we have these ingrained beliefs and ideas about what's right and what's wrong that guide our actions and also meet needs like, how do I belong in this society? How do I belong into this culture? And even how do I belong into this family? Because, these cultures, they also vary from family to family. You can think of a dinner at friend's house and how the customs there differ, vary from what you know from your own home. So this is a huge, huge part of meaning making that is responsible for emotional reactions. When we see something and think, this is wrong, you know? And then part of the meaning making is also related to our own experience. What we have seen, what we have witnessed, what we have lived, what we know. These are shortcuts that our brain makes out of our own life experience so that we don't have to analyze a situation after situation after situation. Totally makes sense. Just as the cultural imprints, they also make sense. The problem starts when they are invisible to us. So we respond not to the stimulus, but to the meaning we assign to it. And as a result, we feel what we feel. When we make this transparent, like, oh, so this person just turned around as I was speaking, and I have a sense that they're ignoring me, and I'm feeling hurt because I would like some connection, understanding, maybe respect. But I may also then choose to check with this person, what did it really mean when they turned? Right? So I can investigate the meaning. I can check, is this interpretation true or not? This is the first step, the first area where I am of choice. To investigate the situation and see if this is actually true, if the meaning that I'm assigning is actually accurate. And then there is an additional element that comes between the stimulus and our response to the stimulus. It is what we are already bringing into the situation. So, for instance, if it's a weekend and I just had a great time and my child comes in crying, I'm the most empathic mother that ever was. I tell you, I'm amazing. I'm great. I'm loving. I'm like, my patience is unlimited. However, if I just had 3 days of really intense workshop with a group I struggled with, and I'm dead. I'm like, everything that I need is peace and quiet. And when my child comes in crying at this point, I have some seriously fierce reactions that I'm trying to attend to while I attend to my child and think, what can we do about this? And is there a third person who can handle this situation? Because I'm done. I'm overwhelmed. I can't make it. You know, this word mom, that sometimes is the most beautiful word in the world, can be just unbearable depending on your initial state when the stimulus, the impulse comes in. So, this is how it's really important, first of all, to be aware and maybe to communicate. You know, sometimes I just say, really, it's not this moment. I so much need some rest and peace and quiet right now. So, yeah, can you go and talk to your dad? Or can we just sit here in peace? I really don't have much to offer at this point. You know, just being transparent about how I am, or at least being transparent with myself and holding myself with compassion. Yeah, it's like I've had so much. It's really not so easy for me to be with my child because otherwise, I mean, with children, it may be relatively simpler because we don't expect them to deal with their emotions. But sometimes, you know, another, like a colleague, partner comes in with something that on a regular day would be a little something. And on this day, it's just more than we can handle. And then we tend to lash at him or her and like almost download all this emotional burden that we've been holding without taking responsibility. Like, it's been such a hard day and I really need to let it go. Would you just listen to me? We habitually make it the other person's fault, which of course creates resistance, pain, and all of that. So that's the other thing, being aware of your own state, being aware of the meaning making that we make. And there is one more thing, one more area that is actually more tricky. This is when our responses seem out of our control. They come of trauma of feeling threatened. So there is also such situations, there is space for such situations, and I will tell you more about it tomorrow. So for today, my invitation is that again, you just go and notice what's alive for me right now. Notice your feelings. You're still invited to look at where are they pointing you to, what needs they're talking about, but also start looking at what are you telling yourself? about this what happened? What are your thoughts? What's the meaning that you're assigning to it? And is this true? And the answer may be yes or no, but just ask yourself this question and notice and share in a comment. Enjoy your day.